This video will demonstrate how to locate, submit, and edit the description of an OG110 monthly production form. To locate the form, navigate to Wellstar. Using the Forms menu, select Online Forms, and then either using the Quick Search tool, an advanced filter, or by navigating through the pages, locate the OG110 monthly production form. Alternatively, you can navigate to your organization detail page under the Production tab, and using the Actions drop-down, report monthly production. This will open the form in the context of the organization whose organization detail page you were just under. The user will still be required to enter the reporting month, the reporting year, and a brief description of the form that they are submitting. Once you've saved and continue from Form Step 1, the only editable information on this step is the description. To edit the description, grab the Form ID, navigate to Online Forms, Forms in Progress. You can advance filter for the Form ID, and using the Actions option, there's an Edit Description. And this is a form that we submitted for January 2021, so we're just correcting the year in which we submitted the form. We can navigate to our form to continue submission by selecting the form name under the Forms in Progress. Now that we've created an OG110 monthly production form for the organization with the correct month, year, and description, we can navigate through the form using the next key. The second step is operator information. On this step, the form contacts are listed. First form contact will be the person that created the form. The second form contact is the agent for the operator associated to the form. If we want to add additional contacts, we can use the Actions Add Contact button. And if there is a contact associated with the organization that the form is submitted for, this checkbox select will let you find that person from the Find Person dropdown. Unselecting this checkbox will allow you to add a form contact to this form, but will not add them to the organization. Once our operator information, form contacts are set, we can navigate to the next step using the next key. Step 3 of the OG110 is EDD submission. On this step, if you wish to submit monthly production data using the electronic data deliverable, select Yes from the radio option and download the EDD template from the online form. Please ensure when using the template, you download the template from the online form in use. This will ensure that you are using the most up-to-date version. Using older versions can cause issues when uploading back into Wellstar. Once the template has finished downloading, open that file on your computer. Navigate to the OG110 tab, and it's on this tab that you'll be entering monthly production data for each of the completion intervals listed under the white column headers. Information can be added to the gray background cells, and this information will be saved to the EDD. Please note that any cell style, format, or font should not be edited while the EDD is in use. Changing the layout of the EDD template may cause issues when uploading back into Wellstar. Information under the gray column headers is uploaded into the EDD template based on each completion interval in an active, idle, permitted, or unknown status. Information under the gray column headers cannot be edited, as this is how Wellstar ties the monthly production data entered under the white column headers to the interval listed on the row. Please keep in mind that if there is a completion interval listed that we do not require monthly production data for, such as an interval that's been plugged and abandoned for the entire calendar month that this form is being submitted for, you can maintain the use of this template by selecting and deleting that row from the template. Another common issue is when there is a well type mismatch. In this case, the first row populated is for an OG completion interval, but it's assigned to a well that has a water disposal well type. Any corrections to the well type will need to be handled by your local district office, but to maintain use of this template, selecting and deleting those rows will allow you to move this template forward back into Wellstar. Keep in mind that any completion interval row that's deleted from the template that we do require monthly production data for will require a subsequent OG110 submitted. When entering the information under the white column headers, you can find additional field descriptions under the Field Descriptions tab, with the field listed under column A, followed by a brief description and several field requirements. When entering the production data for the completion intervals found on your template under the white column headers, several of the fields require you to choose a numeric value from a drop-down. Descriptions of the numeric values in those drop-downs is found under the Data Descriptions tab. Please note that the header in the box corresponds to that white column header, with the values of the drop-down listed on the left, followed by a description of those values. When uploading monthly production data using the EDD template, this form requires each cell under the white column headers to be entered for each completion interval row populated. Once you've entered all of your monthly production data under the white column headers for each completion interval row populated on the EDD, save that file to your computer and navigate back to WellStar. Once back in WellStar, browse and select that updated EDD template, and when it's finished uploading to step 3, you'll receive a done, and the file will be displayed in a green color. To navigate to the next step and begin EDD processing, select Next from the bottom of the screen. While the EDD is processing, you will see a system processing message in yellow at the top of the page. Depending on the size of the EDD and the amount of rows and information added, this can take several seconds up to several minutes. To find out if the EDD processing has completed, refresh your browser page and wait until the refresh has stopped. Once your browser page is refreshed, you will either see the EDD processing message still, or see a new message displayed under the production data section. In this case, we received a warning message denoted by the yellow triangle. The yellow triangle is also seen in the status column of the production grid, followed by a brief description of what the message is. Warning messages are okay to submit this form. They simply denote some informational callouts based on the row and data entered. In this case, we are amending previous data, but that does not stop us from submitting this form. If there are no errors, you will receive a green check mark, denoting that all of the data and information entered can be processed successfully by the form. The third option is a red X denoting that there's been an error with the data. To correct errors, use either the Actions Edit Data option, and using the pop-up, correct the fields that need to be corrected. The errors will all be listed in the pop-up under individual error messages. Alternatively, if there are many errors to correct, navigating back to your EDD to correct those errors, then navigating back to step 3 and re-uploading a corrected EDD template can be a solution to solve error messages. Once you receive only warning messages or the green checkbox saying everything has been successfully processed, you are ready to navigate to step 5. To navigate to step 5, scroll to the bottom of the screen and select the next key. Step 4 of the OG110 is production data. You selected to upload an EDD using step 3, and that EDD is still processing. You'll see a yellow processing message across the top of your screen. To find out if the EDD is finished processing, refresh your browser page. When the page is finished refreshing, you'll see a message under the production data grid. If there were no issues with the records you uploaded, there will be a green check mark and a message displayed that says all records processed successfully. Notice in the grid, each row contains a status column. In this case, there are warning messages for each of the rows entered. Warning messages let you know that there is something to be aware of with the data being submitted, but the form can still be submitted with these warning messages. In this case, the message is that this is an amendment to previous data, which is acceptable. The third type of message, which the form cannot move forward with, is an error message. This will be denoted with a red X in this message above in the production data grid, as well as a red X in the status column of your row. To find out more information on the errors, select Actions and Edit Data. This will populate the warning message or error message in the well production data pop-up. These errors can either be corrected within the form, using the fields in the pop-up, or by navigating back to your Excel EDD, correcting the errors on the EDD, and re-uploading using step 3. Once all error messages have been cleared, and it's only warning messages or green successful processing messages, the form can be navigated forward. To navigate to the next step, scroll down and select the next key. Once the monthly production data has been entered and all errors have been cleared, navigate to the next step using the next button. Step 5 of the EDD is the document upload step. You can upload documents by choosing Actions, Add New, Upload New Document, selecting what type of document it is, selecting the relevant date, entering a description, and browsing and selecting that document from your computer. When you're ready to navigate to the next step, use the next button. The final step to submit your form is this Form Submit step. On this step, you can associate to other online forms using Actions, Add Form, and selecting the form ID you wish to associate to the OG110 you're submitting. Comments can be left on this page. And to submit the form, select the acknowledgement and choose Submit. You will see a form has been successfully submitted message. Please note that there is a background process message stating that the form is still processing. Please refresh your browser until this message disappears.